Let me tell you guys how fucking stupid religion is. So, aside from everything else that's wrong with it, my black lesbian friend was telling me how important it is because we got on the topic about how when a woman gets married, it goes from her father being in charge of her life and everything like that to like her husband because now she's married and that's what the Bible says or whatever. And my lesbian friend is going on and on about the importance and the guidance, and that's why you have to choose the right man. And this bitch was basically saying, oh well, women, I was like, what about women who get abused? What about women that get cheated on? What about women? She's like, well, there were signs, there had to have been signs. That's not very Christian of you, but it never is with them. It never is. And she's always preaching religion, but she dead ass was like basically saying it's the woman's fault if something goes wrong in the marriage. And the whole time she's talking about how important it is to be married to a man, she's a lesbian. And I want to preface this by saying she's bisexual, but by the same way that I'm bisexual. Like, you're bisexual, like you're attracted to men, but like in no way, shape, or form are you going to end up with a man. Like, she, every fucking 5 minutes, she's like, oh, I can't wait to find my wife. I want my wife. She talks to 3 or 4 or 5 bitches. She'll be cheating on one bitch trying to find her wife with another bitch. Like, it's just bitch after bitch after bitch. Ruined our friendship over bitches, honestly. All she cares about is these bitches. Ruin relationships with her family over these bitches. Like, that's all she cares about. But anyway, so she's gay. Like, she's gay. Anyway, so she's sitting there and she's talking about how in the Bible she's like, oh, it's so important, like you have to find a good husband, and like you have to honor your father and honor your husband, and da 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 da, and like that's why it's important for women to find a good man, like that they are not doing due diligence. Essentially, she was basically saying like there were signs that a man wasn't a good man in the beginning of a relationship and she should have. So it's like she was going on and on about how that's why you have to look for clues and God will show you signs and you have to find a good man and there will be warning signs, and that's why when you're dating, da da da. And I'm like, so when women go through domestic violence, when women get raped by their boyfriends and husbands, when women get murdered by their boyfriends and husbands, when women go through these things, in your brain, they were not looking at God's signs that he wasn't a good guy. They didn't have the intuition enough. They weren't smart enough. They weren't using enough due diligence to figure out that they shouldn't marry this guy or have children with this man or let him take over the power that her dad has and now he has it. And the fact that she even thinks that a man should be in charge of her is so crazy because she had a shitty ass dad and she doesn't date men. So the fact that she was just rolling on about this for like over 40 fucking minutes, but then so to go on and on about how like a man is so important when you never had a dad for real and he was a piece of shit and you don't date men. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So, and then to when women do get abused or attacked or neglected or any form of mental, physical, and emotional pain from their husband, you attribute it to they weren't doing a good job selecting a man. And I'll admit that my mom had baby daddies and boyfriends. They were all shit, honestly. I mean, a couple of them were good. A couple of them. She didn't date the best men, to be honest. I don't think she was using much due diligence, to be honest. But to attribute when women are raped and attacked and abused and murdered by they weren't paying attention to God's signs, they weren't paying attention, they weren't doing due diligence, is so fucking disgusting and inhumane. And then to repeatedly call yourself a good Christian throughout the conversation is insane to me. To wear that cross around your neck in general is insane. Saying those type of statements. Like, men don't put on a fucking facade. Like, men, like, I'll admit, like I said about my mother, women do choose terrible men sometimes. And there will be signs in the very beginning. He's a bum. He's abusive. He has anger issues, whatever. There will be signs about certain men. But then to act like men don't put on a facade. And then I asked her, I was like, so when my ex-boyfriend cheated on me, he was texting me every day, calling me almost every day, telling me how much he loves me, telling my family how much he loves me. He wanted to get engaged. He's bringing me flowers for every event. He's leaving work early. He's surprising me at work, surprising me at my house, taking care of my dog, taking care of my family, paying for things, doing this, whatever. I was like, it wasn't until like the very end of our relationship where things went to shit. I said, so at what point do you think I was being bamboozled? She's like, oh no, your situation which was different. Like I was there for that. Like I saw all that. Why would you not assume other women aren't going through that? I think some women are so desperate to be with a man that they will ignore a lot of red flags to get to a man. I also am not narcissistic and have a fucking crucifix up my goddamn ass enough to not understand that women can be tricked with men sometimes. I've seen it. Like men are doting and caring and so beautifully in love, and then they turn around and fuck another girl. They cheat on them, or they have a whole hidden family. Not all men, not all bad people give you a sign before they do some terrible shit. Some of the best people you know in your life is the literal someone's fucking nightmare on nails. Think of one of the best people you know in your life. Like, oh wow, that guy's a great guy, or that girl's amazing, da da da. It is quite possible that they are somebody's worst fucking nightmare. That when they see that person, they get sweaty, they get sick, they get scared, they get nervous. Like, it happens all the time. That's why when people start telling on men or telling on women, they're like, oh, she never did that to me, he never did that to me, because they can't even fathom that he's such a great person to me that they wouldn't do this to somebody else. So it just, so many things took me back in that conversation. And mind you, this woman, a black lesbian Christian, like, God did not give a fuck about slaves, and he fucking for sure doesn't give a fuck about a fag. Like, what are we doing? Like, are you insane? Like, I was like, oh my God. Then I said, oh my God, that's funny. But I was like, what the fuck? Like, he doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about us. It's so stupid. And the whole time she's sitting there talking about, oh yeah, you have to, after that, then your father, then your husband, blah, blah. You didn't have a dad and you want a wife. Why the fuck do you care? Why the fuck do you care? Like, and then, like I said, putting the blame on women that they're not, and like I said, some women don't, but to say that a lot of women just are not using due diligence when they're selecting men, and that's why they're getting their asses beat, that's why they're getting abused, that's why this, da, 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 that's why they're leaving, the men are walking out on their families and their kids and causing single mothers because the women didn't choose good enough men. To say for every time that is the probability of what happened in those situations is so fucking disgusting. And then to sit there with a stupid ass grin and call yourself a Christian as a black lesbian, that is what's keeping you up at night. Like, just stupid. Religion is just stupid. I don't know. I talk a lot of shit about religion, especially dirty ass Christians, but that has got to be my top pet peeve, that they are so insanely judgmental and angry and like pointing the finger when they're supposed to be a good person. To say a woman deserves the abuse she went through by her husband because she wasn't paying attention to God's signs is quite literally so fucking disgusting. As a lesbian doing all this. Gay woman, you are double downing on the importance of picking a good husband so your father can pass the torch to him on who runs your life and why it's so important that this happens. Also, after studying to get my bachelor's in public health and wanting my doctorate in social work and staying in school for that, I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I can't think of anything, because like I want to help everybody, not just women, but that is where my focus is, to be honest. Animals and women and children. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But I can't think of anything worse than a woman going to get help from someone and this person uses, because it happens all the time, like you read about it, I've written papers on it, people using their religion. Could you imagine if a woman got abused and went to seek help from this bitch that I was talking to, and they started bringing up that she didn't do good due diligence when picking a man? Because I've literally seen and heard that, but to hear it in my face so directly,